I'm Rebecca Balcarcel. Let's take a look at the poem Digging by Seamus Heaney and look online for a recording of him reading it because he has a great accent, not American accent, and you'll love it. But I'll just read it in my own voice. Digging. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun. Under my window, a clean rasping sound when the spade sinks into gravelly ground, my father digging. I look down till his straining rump among the flower beds bends low, comes up 20 years away, stooping in rhythm through potato drills where he was digging. The coarse boot nestled on the lug, the shaft against the inside knee was levered firmly. He rooted out tall tops, buried the bright edge deep to scatter new potatoes that we picked, loving their cool hardness in our hands. By God, the old man could handle a spade, just like his old man. My grandfather cut more turf in a day than any other man on Toner's bog. Once I carried him milk in a bottle, corked sloppily with paper. He straightened up to drink it, then fell to right away, nicking and slicing neatly, heaving sods over his shoulder, going down and down for the good turf, digging. The cold smell of potato mold, the squelch and slap of soggy peat, the curt cuts of an edge through living roots, awaken in my head. But I've no spade to follow men like them. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests. I'll dig with it. Okay, I read straight through because I just got caught up in the drama. But let's go back and take a closer look. So he starts and ends the poem with the same idea. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, actually the same words. And of course, he's talking about his own career as a writer, or his career as a writer. Snug as a gun comes up in the first stanza, and then at the end he says, I'll dig with it. So at the beginning, snug as a gun, I really like the sound, snug, gun. And of course, a gun is very powerful. It has enormous potential, enormous energy. It's about to do something exciting, dangerous, harmful possibly. And the writer has that kind of power. So that's an interesting phrase right there. But he compares his work as a writer to what we might call real work or work, labor work. And the work he refers to is his father and his father's father digging for peat. So he describes the sound, clean rasping sound when the spade sinks into gravelly ground. At first it's his father digging, and he looks down. And this digging in the garden, the yard, reminds him. It says, till his straining rump among the flower beds. So it's just a normal flower bed, but it says it comes up 20 years away, 20 years in the past, stooping in rhythm through potato drills where he was digging. So in the past, he dug for potatoes. So they had a vegetable garden, or even maybe a little farm, and the potatoes were dug. And then he's in the past, and he describes the coarse boot nestled on the lug, the shaft. So these are parts of the spade, the tools of the trade for someone who grows food. He rooted out tall tops, and there's so many lovely sounds. Buried the bright two bees there, edge deep. And then he talks about picking up the potatoes, so he and his siblings or cousins or something. And then he reflects, by God, the old man could handle a spade. And this whole thing is told with quite a lot of respect, looking back at how hard his father worked and how expert he was, what skill it took. And the same thing about the grandfather. My grandfather could cut more turf in a day than any other man on Toner's bog. And this was a real thing. They would cut turf squares out of the bog, and you could sell that. So cutting turf was an important activity, a profitable activity, and he was good at it. And he says, I carried the milk in a bottle. So the writer, as a child, would carry milk to his grandfather, and then right away the grandfather would get back to work. Lots of lovely details about the milk corked with paper. But then the man would start digging, and he would go down, down, digging deep for the good turf. And this is compared to the writer's job, digging, and of course the title digging. In some way, the pen can also dig, and that's how it ends. I'll dig with it. So writing digs into issues, into psychology, into the social issues of our day, cultural problems, political issues, psychological character studies. The writer can do a lot of stuff with their pen, with their typewriter. And it's compared here to the hard work of actual digging with an actual spade, digging potatoes. Is it just as hard? Well, I'm a writer and I can say I think it's very hard. It's hard in a different way. It's mentally hard, it's emotionally hard. Some writers have said it's, oh, writing's easy. You just sit down and open a vein. Okay, so that implies that it's really quite hard. And he says, I'm the pen sits exactly here between my finger and thumb, and I'll dig with it. Okay. I want to mention one more sound thing, the squelch and slap of soggy peat. Lots of S's and almost onomatopoeia with a word like squelch and a word like slap. And then curt cuts of an edge. That's the blade. Curt means short, cuts, and also controlled and precise cuts. More respectful language, actually, for this work, for this digging. And he actually says, I don't have a spade to follow men like them. So that is not my area of expertise. I'm just a writer, but I'll do what I can. I'll dig with it. I will bring the same honesty to my work as they do. And hopefully my work as a writer will have value the way that their work had value. The potatoes and the sod, the peat, had value. It feeds you in a different way, or it fuels you in a different way. Writing does, poems, but maybe just as important, or that seems to be the assertion here. Okay, so that's digging, and there's more to say about it, but I'll stop there, and I hope you'll join me for another poem on 6 Minute Scholar. Please like the video if you did like it, and join me for another one.